Hey, I'm Kev, so welcome back to MXGP Pro, as we're looking at the bike settings for race 2 here in Mexico, as we found out when we got pushed wide or when we went off the groove slightly, our bike was just like a tank. It could not get over the bumps at all. It was very poor over the bumps as well all race long, so we might have to make a bike a bit higher, I think. So we have the ride height increased on front and rear. So hopefully it'll be a bit faster over these harder terrain tracks, very irregular terrain with lots of bends. So that's what we should have done in the first race, and then with the fork as well, unstable and fast stretches but great at cornering. So you might actually do that as well, just to lower that a bit, and then with the shock absorbers as well. So that can reduce value bike as little grip when exiting bends. And the rear tends to rise up. We don't want that. So do increase that slightly. And then the bike shocks large holes and dips well, but risks reaching the single shock absorbers limit. This is useful for tracks with low jumps, while with high values the bike is more reactive and stable and end, but tends to bounce. I think we have to do that, to be honest. So increase that, and then with the springs as well, the stiffer spring, a precise bike is attained, allowing greater responsiveness but diminishing control. So do that, and then make that less stiff at the rear as well. So hopefully this works out. Let's see if it does in race 2. As here's Hillman revving up at the start of the second race on the outside, waiting for the gates to drop as we get underway here in Mexico. A poor start from Hillman. Tries to be brave around the outside into the first corner. Doesn't work out. What the hell happened there? Well, he's still upright. He tries to dive down the inside. You've got like 4 odd Rubinis down. Coming up to 14th from last. There's all a couple of riders behind getting into each other. Hillman getting into Bernardini, as that's the Italian again, pushing him wide. He'll never learn, will he? Hillman goes 3 wide, gets up into 5th now, the Bogues. Over there has Varna, held to the Yamaha, up into 3rd. Great run, but here comes, there's Varna down the inside, pushing Hillman wide. Gets on the power early enough though. And there's Varna a bit slow over the jump. Hillman shoves him wide again, takes back 3rd. So fantastic opening lap then in the end for Hillman. After that suspicious start again, the bike rearing up. Just like in that first corner. Hillman actually making the move though for 2nd. There's Petrov in 11th, got the Belgium in 13th. Just one bike in front, and here's Jonas, the Latvian. His teammate Ray down the order again then. So Hillman must have passed Olsen then, I'm guessing, on the Hasvarna. Go out the corner, go flat out past the pits. Over the jump, and on to the 2nd lap. What a start for Hillman then. So now, can he challenge for the lead? He tries to back the bike into the right-hander. Just want to feel how this bike is with these softer settings for the higher ride height as well. It's good at cutting corners, obviously. But it's the middle sector in particular where Hillman was strong in that opening race. So let's see if that characteristic remains. This section after this is, bit of a mess up from Jonas in front. Hillman trying to attack for the lead. Switches to the inside and takes it. He leads in Mexico. Jonas trying to take it. What the hell? Trying to take it back, and does, because the bike just auto flew into the sky there. What the hell? Hillman trying to tackle it back. Battles down the inside. What? Are you kidding? Are you actually kidding? Hillman down to 4th. Because I'm guessing he clipped the advertising hoarding. As we got Bogues in 4th briefly. And then having to back it up again over that jump because of the Yamaha in front. To go through the hairpin, here comes Bogies again, trying to battle through. We're not working on this occasion. But Hillman much happy with the bike, I would say. It seems to be helping over these bumps, at least at the moment. We see as the race goes on. As he goes through the left-hander. Can definitely be a bit more adventurous with it, Lions, it feels like. That right-hander's virtually smooth. As he tries to go down the inside for third. So right in front goes wide. And see, it has Varn and KTM in front, virtually together. Battling for the lead. Now Hillman gets through for third, and it's like Olsen past Jonas for that position. Going for the double is the Norwegian and the overall victory, and to gain on the Latvian in the championship. It's not Olsen, it's Covington apparently. Olsen's apparently in 13th. That can't be right. Surely he's not that far down the field. This will approach 5 minutes gone in this race so far. Been a frantic first 5 minutes. What the hell? Apparently you can't use the brakes either on this thing still. Go over the jump, nicely carrying that momentum. And you've got careful into this right hand. There's so many bumps and creases before you get into the corner. That's the Italian in 11th, and Hillman knocks another bit of the scenery, but survives to tell the tale this time around. As he's caught quickly up to this top two. Now can he stick with them and maybe find a way by? As he does the fast lap of 40.1. Race pace is slower than we saw in the first race at the moment. We see if that speeds up and dips under the 40 barrier. But at the moment, very similar. Let's go into the left hander. Hillman one forward already. Don't want to make it two by making a rash move here. For podium place. As you can see through the left hander, great stopping power. And a bit wide. What the hell? A bit wide in the. What is going on? Just leaned into the corner and just got forced wide. That was very strange. But he's back up into third, is Hillman, after his second fall. Well, he picked up the bike, so his second issue. But no idea what caused that. You saw it, he was just going through the corner and then it just suddenly pushed him towards the North Pole. I'll have to investigate that after the race. But we still got around 25 minutes off it, including those additional laps at the end, so got to watch out then for that kind of whoop section. Got to watch out for Leiber taking us out from behind. Belgium on a mission again in fourth. So we're losing that banking well to get going again. Over the jump. Onto the fourth or fifth lap now of the race. Already lost count. There's a frantic opening. And as you can see, they're already spreading out the top two. Attached to the hip. Oh, what the hell? Come on. He did not snatch the brakes there. Don't understand. Was that another one over the jump? So the Spaniard. So once again, Hillman just quickly gets back into third. As they go wide into the right hand. Of course, Hillman's the one who gets pushed wide. But gets going again. And fifth is he? No, the Spaniard holds on. Then lands on the Spaniard, gives him a concussion. As he's just hitting every... Now this bike has no grip. What the hell? As he gets into Garcia and just wipes him out. Well, that's for wiping us out. And we've got Bogues down in 7th as well, an unfortunate casualty of that instant Gene Hillman. And the Spaniard, as Hillman grabs back 3rd from Liebert, gets punted into the hairpin. We can see the top 2 nowhere to be seen in front. He's got some catching up to do, Hillman, now. Let's just get on his bike and ride away as we approach the end of this first third of the race, which is catalysed by a weird start, and then he actually made up positions as the first lap went on. Then the odd mistake as well, been pushed wide a couple of times, getting into that whoop section, crashed here as well on the brakes. I'm guessing he hit the brakes on a bump, which really unsettled the rear and made it turn around. Well, apart from that, Hillman's got pace, just been shooting himself in the foot and been shooting each other people's feet as well. So that's now leaning too far forward. We haven't seen that a lot, have we, this season? So once again, just flies over that jump. Even though we took some pace off on that occasion, just flew with Hillman as he tries to gain onto the top 2 of Jonas and Olsen. As that's pretty good over the left-hander. That's a much better line. Feels like he's building a gap on 4th behind as Petrov in 11th. Just outside the top 10 is the Bulgarian. Be a very happy top 10 if he gets it, as he is definitely gaining on the leaders. Could just about see them heading into the jump on that occasion. There's a 38.7's best that time. Now it's a 38.6 from Hillman. Oh, he's getting... I was going to say the foot down, but it's the hands down, isn't it? Really opening up that throttle now. As he go into the left hand, they try and get on that power. Zone just dropping back from Olsen, and it's like in front. So once again, an outfit maybe not got the response to Olsen at the moment pace-wise, but then we saw in the final third get all over the back of Olsen before falling. So we'll see if that happens again in this race. We'll see if Hillman can join them as well. So once again launches over that jump. This goes a bit wider than the left-hander. Going too much speed, so much rhythm round it required at times. You can see Jonas in front by around 5 seconds, I would say. Between 5 and 10 at least. It's Petrov still in 11th. As we go into the hairpin. Trying to control that throttle. Very difficult to do. As he goes into the left hand, I thought he was off there. Because after setting that 38, he's dipped into a 1 minute 40. That's abysmal, that Hillman. Got to be way better than that. Got to be consistent 38, 39s now. You can't afford to be dipping into the 40s. You want to catch the top 2. As once again a bit wide into that left-hander. That is such a tricky braking zone. Feels like you can brake deeper than you think. But then if you do, you're just slightly offline. And we've seen what can happen when you try and push that braking zone already. That's once again in that right hand. It's just trying to push us wide for no reason. This time Hillman holds on. But that right hand there into the work section, you've got to watch out for that. So that's better from Hillman, really backing off the throttle over that tabletop. Seems to really work. Same through the left hander as well. Much better flow, and he is gaining in this middle sector. can see that gap's perhaps closer to 5 seconds now than it was before. To go over this left hand, and this is basically just hot lapping at the moment. And this is where Hillman's at home as well, as he saw in qualifying over that one lap. No worries behind of being punted or dive bomb. Can just push and produce 37s. 37.7, that's more like it, Hillman, as you approach the halfway mark of this race. Definitely got into the rhythm now. It's a bit wide again, but somehow managed to make that work. Got on a power early, kind of cutting off the corner, something you'll see on circuit racing, of course, a lot. Someone wants to try and do the cutback move, is all trying to get on the power. Hillman almost loses the rails. Oh, the Frenchman down for 5th, Hillman down for 3rd. What the hell happened there? Bike just launched itself into the bay. Just as Hillman's starting to produce the lap times, gaining on Jonas. Does a stupid mistake like that. For only his 2nd fall, is that? Or 3rd fall of the race? At least it's solidly in single figures this time. Unlike that first race. We'll see as the race progresses though. And see, definitely build a gap behind as well as he comfortably held on to 3rd. And see, taking some different lines as well heading into this corner. Actually got close to what seemed like the apex there on that occasion. So we might have to explore that line on the next lap as well. We go into the hairpin, accelerate away. Go into that left hand to get hard on the power early. Short shift up to 5th. Despite the fall, it's just a low 41, so he still lost around 3 seconds, did Hillman, but maybe gained that on the previous lap, so he just cancelled out his previous lap, really. As we go into that left hand. Such a tough surface here in Mexico. You can really feel that brake scrape when hitting it. That rear slide. That barrier on the inside, you're definitely going to avoid this time. Definitely did that. Hillman. Don't get too distracted by the surroundings as well. You can see the towns around here. So go really backing off that throttle now. Through the left hand, it seems to flow much better as well. Into the next section. So go good landing over the jumps. And over the left hander. Seeing that gap to Jonas has actually increased because you don't see him now. Going into that right hander. You can definitely see Olsen in front. It was that Jonas. We'll have to see as we approach final 3rd of this race. It's been a bit lonely, this sector. First 3rd is all about battling, getting to that top 3. This set's all about trying to chase down that top 2. It's been a lonely mission and it's not been a successful one at the moment. But Hillman has definitely showed the place, flashed it. That 37 as well, a bit wide. Able to cut back though. And he's still within touching distance of the top 2, just not within sightseeing distance at the moment. So what did the bike feel off there? That was actually a decent line in the end. So unintentionally, that's actually a pretty good line as Garcia now on 11th. Also got the Brit in the top 10. Someone goes through the left hand, get on that throttle. Don't want to carry too much speed over those jumps because you got that left hand, and this is when you nail the throttle over those jumps. And you dab the brakes, balance that throttle, over that jump. And into the right hand, okay, and all that speed going right up to the barrier. It's actually the Brits just outside. Just like the top 10 in 13. You've got Seawer in 11th. Got Garcia battling for a top 10 again. Not the weekend for the Spaniard. Someone goes over the jump. Taking that wide line. He's going to be close to a 37 again. 38, that's it, Hillman. He's marching again towards the top 2. As you go through this right-hander. That corner's probably the most forgiving on the whole circuit now. He really is quite smooth compared to almost every other corner on the track. Same with this left-hander actually. Getting into that apex is pretty handy. So we're trying to replicate that line from the previous lap, but not be as audacious on the outside, but not quite succeeding. So go wide through the left hand, okay, the speed. Just pumping the throttle over those jumps, then nailing it over that one. Definitely seems to be gaining back up to seconds. You can see them into the right hander again. Oh, the rear, what are you doing, rear? Just shows the treachery of being slightly offline. Trying to get on the power of this rear. Gone to very dry stuff with no rutting, no grip. The rear end is going to end up like that. Tillman sets another 37. Final third of the race. This is his time normally when he's in the groove. He's doing it again. Oh, a bit wide on the right hander though. Really trying to slide the bike in there. And then through the left as well. Just having to wait to get onto the power. I'm very confident over that jump now. Really did carry some air over there. Let's hopefully that's the leaders in front. Hope he's not that traffic, because look at him gain, Hillman. He's got Hunter Lawrence down to 30th now, and the Brit up to 11th. And this is the middle sectorways. Pretty handy. With the left hand, accelerate. Really is gaining on seconds. Because Hillman and all don't want to rear up the bike. And then to right hand, a bit out the groove. It shows he does have perhaps race winning pace consistently, which he didn't show in the first race. Thought he maybe had the older flash of it, but couldn't consistently produce it like he has in this second race. And now he's down, come on! We do that every lap. And now he's down. Just as he's catching up second as well. So his fourth fall pushes Hillman back again. Just as he caught up to Jonas. Are you kidding? Look, he's almost back to square one now before those last couple of laps. Just because he took a line he did the previous lap and for some reason it doesn't work this lap. Just go for the left hand, get on that power hard, Hillman. It's almost a bit too wide on the right handers. But you can hear he's barely punishing that throttle. Especially over that jump now. Much better rhythm through the left. Now he punishes that throttle over that jump and into the next jump. Actually hasn't lost too much. Maybe a couple of seconds. But you can see, I think first as well now in front of second. So Jonas maybe getting on the has fun as well as whoa. What the hell? They're going again. Let's go wide again. Get hard on the power. And there we go, through the left-hander. Just so much more cautious this time. As he does a 1:40, that's absolutely poor. Needs to do 38. Hillman. As he go into the left-hander again, a bit wide. As we approach the final 5 minutes of this race. It's been very lonely after that opening salvo. But it's been a true test. This has of Hillman's credentials back in MX2. Battling, catching this top two. He hasn't done it yet, but he's not far off. And he's gaining again, you can see that. Go through the left hander, hard on the accelerator. Over the jumps. Over the left hand and then hard on the power. Taking that slightly wider line. Now on the apex though. See barricading any speed over that left hander. Riding the bumps pretty well this lap though is Hillman, despite losing the rest slightly going into the hairpin. Really gaining on second though. And here we go, back into the 37s is this. It is. Thought it might have been a 36 for a moment. As you've got just under 5 minutes remaining and 2 laps, remember. So more like 8 minutes. Come on, Hillman can see second. He's got the binoculars out. He identifies it's Jonas in front as Olsen has crashed from 4th. So it is Covington leading. We suspect, at least. He is the only remaining Asfarna, isn't he, in the field? So it is Covington leading. Bogue is in 13th, Britain 11th on another Asfarna. And look at Hillman gaining on Jonas all the time. He loves this middle sector. He loves this last part of the race. He goes over the jump, make sure you don't run too wide on the exit. Make sure you're not too wide into the right hand, he is slightly. But he's all over the KTM now, the championship leader, remember. Even though Hillman's way back in the championship at the moment, these could be vital points come the end of the season if he does get into the groove and start winning a lot more. Getting a little bit more, as that's the fastest, that 37.666. The number of the Hillman. Let's go through the right hander. Taking that tighter line through the left. Exit does him no favours though. As we go through the next left and look at this right on the tail of Jonas. This could help the leader. There's a battle for second. No, Hillman! Bike just wouldn't turn. Another mistake just as he catches the Latvian. He's got... Has he got like a force field around him or something? Let's stop being side race, bike. Come on. Get pointed forward. To go over the jumps. It's right behind. Jonas, don't get too wide. Right behind the leader as well. Come on, Hillman. Get your act together. You can get a win here. Just keep it together for these last few laps. We've got Seaver down in 11th. Hillman after that fastest lap. This is going to be like a 1:40. It is 1:40. Come on. Need to start producing 2 1:37s. You've got 2 laps to do it, 3 laps to do it. So Jonas a bit wide there. No, why is the rear getting out? Let's head into the left-hander. Now this jump. Taking a bit off, less throttle into the jump. That seemed to help straight line the bike before we took it. So for Hillman, he is now right in the tail of Jonas. He can nudge down the inside for second. He can. And then there's the leader. Only a couple of seconds further up the road. Here goes Hillman for victory in Mexico. Make it 3 in 4. We'll just forget about the first race here though. That never happened. You can grab the victory here. Let's go into the hairpin. Normally so slow. Normally you're about to be punted from behind, but not on that occasion. Get superb drive off that left-hander. As he sets off 36.8. Oh, he's stepping it up as Hillman. With 3 to go. Let's go for the right-hander. I said he needed to be in the 37s. He goes 1 better. Then he goes a bit wide in that left-hander. Gets on the power hard though. Then into the left. Hook up that apex. Don't carry too much speed over this jump. That's nicely done. That flowed nicely into the next right as well. Might be right in the back of the leader at the end of this lap. As whoa, what's that? 2 sideways. Let's go through the left-hander. Don't carry too much speed over these jumps. Do over this jump though. Let's look at this. Just a second separates Hillman from the lead. So close. He can virtually reach out and touch the leader now. I'm not sure that would be legal if he yanks him back. But we will try on this final couple of laps. But look at that Hillman getting the slides out as well. He's been aggressive. Oh, I had to be so slow in the left-hander though. Didn't get the drive. Covington does lead, but just by a second ahead of Hillman, who's a bit wide in the left-hander. Then into the right. Tries to get on the power as early as he can. And on the next left, that's a bit smoother getting on the power. Let's go over the jump. What a grandstand finish we got here. It's just like the last race in Mexico when it was Jonas and Olsen. Now it's Hillman and Covington. It's the American and the Macau rider battling for victory here in the second moto in Central America. And look at that, he can push him through corners now. Oh, maybe he will. Through the left. Hillman down the inside. Does he take the lead from 64? He does. Now can he hold on for a lap and a half? Does he go into the right-hander? Carrying the speed, not drifted too wide. He's never done it so good. We go through the left. What a slow burner this race has been. You thought it was going nowhere, did you? With 10 minutes remaining. Hillman making mistakes. But he's got it together. What the hell happened there? Maybe a lack of speed as he go across the line. Due to the 38 does Hillman. He leads going on to the final lap. Well, he's still got Covington right in his tail. He can't afford to mess up. That has Farner will pounce. So go through the left-hander. Try to get some traction out of that corner. See, we're in 11th. There is Covington trying to sniff a nose down the inside of Hillman. But it's not there for the American. Does he go for the right? Got to nail every apex, Hillman. Nailed them all. Like you've never nailed them before. Goes a bit wide through the right. Don't carry too much speed into the left though. Don't go too wide as well. Keep the speed up over the jumps. Then through the next left. Then nail the throttle. Got half a lap to go. Oh, rears up on the bike. Don't be doing that. As it goes for the tricky right-hander. The corner from hell. Or is it this left-hander? Who knows anymore? He's just got a couple of corners to go. Going downhill. For the right-hander. Get it up to third, fourth, fifth, accelerate. Over the jump. One proper corner to go. Hillman short shifts up to fifth, accelerates past his fans. And wins in Mexico. What a race! So after 21 laps and almost 35 minutes, Kev Hillman wins on his Kawasaki for the third time this season. Covington with Jonas in third, Olsen fourth, Patriel fifth, Leiber down to sit Vinny ahead of Garcia, Osland with a good top 10 on his Yamaha ahead of Lawrence and Siwa. Looking further down the field, we've got Bogues down in 12th with the Japanese rider at the back. Sometimes good race management importantly to a victory like Olsen's today. Shall we just be neutral with Hunter Lawrence? Olsen won this round despite high to level to get in front of him. What a shame. We like you, Bogus. You're pretty nice. Hard work pays off. Olsen, you won today. Who knows who will win next time? We'll just be neutral. So Grand Prix results overall from Mexo. Hillman in the top 5, but it's Olsen who grabs the overall by a single point of Jonas. Then Covington, Patriel, a couple points ahead of Hillman, who's 3 points ahead of Leiber. Garcia, Siwa, Lawrence, and the Brit Muse in the top 10, just ahead of Bogus and Osland. And the Italian down in 13th. We, of course, are happy about that. Petrov in 16th. The Japanese rider and the Frenchman right at the back. So in the championship, after 4 rounds of 19, it's Jonas who leads by 16 points ahead of Olsen. He's 14 points ahead of Covington, who's just a couple points ahead of Garcia. Hillman a single point ahead of Patriel in 5th. 56 points behind Jonas already though, after just a 5th of the season. That's over 2 race wins. He's got to start racking up the wins and taking huge chunks out of Jonas and Olsen. Otherwise, he might not be in the title battle this season. You've got Siwa in 7th, Leiber in 8th, Bogues in 9th, Hunter Lawrence in 10th ahead of the Brit by 31 points. Who's gone through the rest of the field. Petrov rounds out the top 20. Monticelli rounds out the top 30 with 3 non-point scores who we haven't seen so far. Then there's lots of credits we've earned. Failed the technical sponsor objective though. And a bit of a fame increase. So for Hillman, it was a good weekend in the end. I know lots of moaning in that first race, but it can be very frustrating as well. Trying to think, oh, if I didn't get pushed here, I wouldn't have led into this, wouldn't have led into this, wouldn't have led into this, wouldn't have led to us having a shit finish. So just got to keep it together a bit better in races. We'll see if we can do that around the hard surface in Italy. It's going to be like Mexico, but 10 times worse. It's going to be like an ice rink over the top. We can't slide the bike too much. It's going to be very difficult to control the throttle and keep the traction out the corners as well. It's very undulating as well. for this 5th round of the season. It's going to be very difficult for Hillman to keep on top of his bike and also manage the bike for the whole 30 minutes plus 2 of that. So it's going to be a fascinating challenge, and we'll see how he does next time. So thanks for watching. We'll find out then.